AITA for losing my shit and screaming at my GF to get out of my house after what her stepbrother did. I'm a 20-year-old guy, and my girlfriend is also 20. We've been together for about a year. Things have been great overall. She's funny, smart, and someone I genuinely saw myself building a future with. She comes from a blended family, and her stepbrother, who's 23, is someone I've only met a handful of times. Until this incident, he seemed like your average guy. Maybe a little cocky, but nothing that raised any red flags. Now for some context about my family. I live at home with my parents and my little sister, who's 15. She's a sweet kid, shy and introverted, but she has a heart of gold. She spends most of her time in her room, either studying or drawing. She's the kind of person who doesn't like to draw attention to herself. So when she does speak up about something, I know to take it seriously. This past weekend, my parents were out of town visiting relatives, leaving me and my sister home alone. I had no big plans, so when my girlfriend asked if her stepbrother could come over, I didn't see the harm. She said he'd bring pizza and booze, and it could be a chill hangout. I figured, why not? My sister was upstairs in her room anyway, and she usually keeps to herself, so it didn't seem like a big deal. The night started off fine. My girlfriend, her stepbrother, and I were in the living room, eating pizza, drinking, and just chatting. Her stepbrother seemed normal enough, making jokes, talking about random stuff. I didn't think twice when he asked to use the bathroom. I pointed him to the one just down the hall and went back to talking with my girlfriend. It wasn't until several minutes later that I realized he was still gone. I remember glancing at the clock and thinking, what's taking him so long? But before I could say anything, I heard voices upstairs. At first, it was faint, like someone talking, but then I heard my sister's voice louder, almost panicked. I froze. That's when it hit me. The bathroom is downstairs. There's no reason for anyone to be upstairs except for my sister. I shot up from the couch and bolted up the stairs, my girlfriend trailing behind me, asking what was going on. When I got to the top of the stairs, I saw my sister standing in the hallway, tears streaming down her face, clutching her arm like she'd been hurt. She was shaking, trying to get words out, but all I could make out was he wouldn't leave, and I told him to stop. I turned and saw her stepbrother standing a few feet away, looking guilty as hell. His face was red, and he was mumbling something about it being a misunderstanding. My sister was sobbing, and it broke me to see her like that. I immediately went into protective mode, demanding to know what had happened. Through her tears, my sister explained that she'd been in her room, minding her own business, when her door creaked open. She thought it was me or maybe our parents, but when she turned around, she saw this guy standing there. She said she tried to be polite at first, asking him if he needed something or if he was lost. But instead of leaving, he walked further into her room. She told him to leave multiple times, but instead of listening, he closed the door behind him. That's when she started to panic. She said she tried to stay calm, but when she tried to get past him to open the door, he grabbed her arm to stop her. She managed to push him away and get the door open, which is when I showed up. Hearing this, I saw red. I started yelling at her stepbrother, asking him what the hell he thought he was doing. He started stammering, saying it was a misunderstanding, that he didn't mean anything by it. But I wasn't buying it. My sister was crying, visibly terrified, and his excuses didn't add up. He had no reason to be upstairs, let alone in her room with the door closed. My girlfriend tried to step in at this point, telling me to calm down and not make assumptions. She kept saying we needed to talk this out and get everyone's side of the story, but I'd already heard enough. My sister's fear was all the evidence I needed. And then my girlfriend said something that made my blood boil. She suggested, right in front of my sister, that maybe my sister was exaggerating or lying. She said, she's just a kid. Maybe she's making it up for attention. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I asked her, why the hell would she lie about something like this? My sister is shy and reserved. She's not the type to make up stories, especially not about something this serious. But my girlfriend kept insisting that we didn't have proof and that her stepbrother didn't actually do anything. At that point, I lost it. I told both of them to get out of my house. Her stepbrother tried to argue, saying it was all a misunderstanding, but I wasn't having it. My girlfriend tried to calm me down, saying I was overreacting and scaring her, but I didn't care. My priority was my sister. I told them both to leave, and after more yelling, they finally did. The next morning, I sat down with my sister to go over everything again. She was still shaken, but managed to recount everything in detail. She said she was scared he was going to assault her. Hearing that broke my heart. I promised her that I believed her and that I'd do everything I could to make sure she felt safe. Since then, my girlfriend has been blowing up my phone. She sent countless texts saying I overreacted, that I shouldn't have yelled, and that I scared her. She keeps saying we need to have a civil conversation about what happened. But when I asked if she'd apologized to my sister or confronted her stepbrother about his behavior, she brushed it off. She said there's no hard proof of anything happening and that I should just let it go. She even said she'd handle her stepbrother herself, but I have zero faith in that. I'm at a loss. I love my girlfriend, but the way she's handled this has made me question everything. How can I be with someone who would defend her stepbrother over my sister? Who would accuse my sister of lying in a situation like this? I feel like I failed my sister by letting this creep into our home. She's been quieter than usual since it happened, and I can tell she's still shaken. I don't know how to make it right. So, Reddit, AITA for how I reacted? Should I have handled things differently? And what do I do now? I don't want to lose my girlfriend, but I also can't just ignore what happened.